Here is how to build a realistic S&M triple tower ride in Planet Coaster. First and foremost, the most important step to get it lined correctly is to make a large triangular shape using art pieces. I use 15 of them to be exact. This way, the three towers will align perfectly and they will be standing in their most realistic positions, with a decent amount of space between each other. After the large triangle shape is in place, I then go ahead and add the three towers. It is important that they are turned slightly and positioned correctly so that the outer corner base beams of the tower align as perfect as possible with the triangle, as shown here. A trick I use is to sink the towers down slightly into the ground to be able to see the supporting corner beams better. Pay close attention to the angle of the towers, since this is crucial for a realistic result. Angle snap is a must. When the three towers are in place and I am happy with their position, I start building the beam construction that will connect the three towers at the top. I use different sized beams to accurately replicate these kind of structures. It can be tricky, but it's definitely very important to make sure that the beams fit perfectly between the two towers. It is important also to include some kind of catwalk at the top for maintenance to take place. Perfect items to use for this is the chain fence as a mesh floor and some fencing on both sides of the catwalk to prevent staff injuries. Think of the structure as a hollow, close replica of the drop tower itself. Use 4 main beams and connect them with diagonal, thinner beams every 2 meters. Then add the supporting tilted beams to create a zigzag pattern as shown here. Add the fence for the maintenance. Then duplicate the beams and copy them to the other side. Now it is time for the fun part. Drag the towers away from the construction just built, add one more center triangle in the middle, preferably in another color as the others, in my case red. Next, group the beam structure and the red triangle and duplicate the group. The copy is then turned and placed perfectly using the red triangle as a reference of placement. When all 3 sides of the construction is done, I group it together and move the towers back to their correct position and move the beam structure all the way to the top. Simply delete the art pieces used as reference points and you're left with a beautiful looking triple S&S style tower. Up next, I will show you how to build the queue area. In a few seconds, notice how I placed both the entrance and exit on the outer corner of the rides. This way, it is easy for the queue to be placed around the triple tower as shown in a bit. Some might argue that the queues are too short, but I would say that they are long enough for this kind of rides, especially when there's multiple towers guests can choose from. To add an extra touch of realism, I covered the top of each tower with a roof and a red light. As many of you know, red lights are placed on tall buildings, signaling for planes and helicopters to stay on a safe distance away from the tall construction. After covering the queue and paths with floor tiles, now it is time to build a queue cover that will act as a protection from the sun and falling items from the towers. This can of course be made in many different ways. However, I wanted it to be simple and clean looking, using the same colors on the roof as of the air tubes inside of the towers. Once the queue cover is in place, I create the blueprint to be able to reuse it over all 3 queues. The method is simple. I use a flat roof, add a ceiling underneath, and give the queue cover beams to act as supports. If desired, lights can be added on the underside of the cover. Meanwhile I have your attention, I would want to know if there's anything you want me to make a tutorial about, or else I am already planning for new Planet Coaster projects in the near future. Do you have any ideas or input? Share them with me in the comments section. As a last realistic visual touch, I am extending the air tubes inside of the hollow towers. I do this using coaster supports that are being colored to match the already existing air tubes. The most effective way is to create a group, sink them down into place and delete the surplus parts. I will show you how I did it in just a moment. As the rides are coming to completion visually, I am now playing around with the different ride sequences to be able to offer a wide variety of ride experiences for the visitors. As shown in previous episodes, this can be altered under the main menu of each ride. A thing to keep in mind is to try to aim for a ride duration that matches the other 2 towers. This way the ride operators can start each ride sequence at the same time to give the triple tower a nicer and more thrilling visual for the guests. Let me show you the final result. Thank you for watching all the way to the end. Here are some more videos for you to watch. Until next time, take care.